Good evening, and welcome to another edition of the Ohm Service Live. This is show number 199. Yes, 199th show of the Ohm Service. With me, Marky Mark, we've got BFG Steve and Betty Dilly Gaff Porter here to entertain you.
we don't have Steve. We've got Trevor.
Sorry, Trevor.
Leave it.
All right, Trev.
All right,
if you're wondering why I'm wearing this shirt, for those of you that remember that far back, a few weeks ago, Hef said he was going to send me some shirts, and he did, and they are fabulous, and I'm well happy. And I said I would wear the shirt of Trevor this evening, and I am as good to my word. So there we are, mate. I can only say thank you. They are awesome.
Hef, I need boxer shorts.
Stop it.
Also, we could do with some petrol and diesel. Ships for that over.
Bless. So here we go. I'm fucking well made up. It looks awesome. They are fab, both of them. The other one's a proper bowling. Well,
you might as well show the other one off. You may as well show it.
There's the other one, a proper bowling shirt. They are awesome.
Is that a Dickies one?
Huh?
Is that a Dickies shirt?
It is.
It's the same as mine.
I couldn't believe how much Dickies charge in the UK for their shirts.
Depends where you go.
Well, yes, true.
What you're now going to have to do is send it over to Betty and get a logo on the back.
Bowling for vapes. Scared the crap out of me paying for petrol the other day. £65, nearly more than the car's worth.
No, it's getting horrendous.
I put 60 quid in mine, it didn't even fill it.
If you're finding you're breaking into sweats every time you fill up your car with petrol, you obviously have coronavirus.
I never laughed at that when I saw it on Facebook. And
you're a miserable git.
I was just about to say, Betty, it's going to be fun for us on 1st of April, isn't it?
Fuck I. Forgot about
that. Well, yes.
No more red wine.
No more red wine.
The thing is that I think it was in Facebook tonight, but actually just before I came in here, there was a guy filmed at his local. I think it was his local Tesco, with his shopping trolley full of cooking oil. So obviously it's a lot cheaper than putting diesel into your car. The only thing is you get the kids running after you want a bag of chips.
It does work.
It does work. It certainly works. Yeah, because the big Chinese supermarket in Glasgow used to be able to go up there and buy 25 litres for basically next to nothing. And a lot of the taxi drivers in Glasgow were going up there, and they were getting 5 gallon of cooking oil for, as I say, buttons and running their taxis.
Well, I
on
mean,
it.
when I used to have my Land Rover, because it were a 2.5 normal aspirated diesel engine, it loved it. I was quite happy with that. I used to mix it. I used to put half and half, like. Used to run all day long. Quite happy.
I'm still waiting for the news story. You know, local McDonald's shut because somebody's drained out the fryers.
Yeah, but the problem is, I've also heard that it's not only red diesel, it's going to be biodiesel as well.
Ouch.
So biodiesel is now going to be taxed at the full rate.
Well,
but biodiesel is not as great as
No, I know it's not.
Because of the additives it's in it. It actually rots the rubber seals in the fuel pumps and stuff. So,
well, BMW found that out, didn't they? Because they actually tell new buyers not to run it on biofuel.
it's the same with the new petrol as well. If you've got an older car, depending on how long you leave your fuel in your car, the ethanol that's in the new petrol, that E10, it will eat rubber seals and hoses. Hence the reason I can't use it in the bike. Because the bike's got carburetors, it rots the diaphragms in the carburetors and rots the boots.
Oh, God. Don't forget to go onto live chat, folks. I did.
So anywho, Trevor, you're going to say hello to chat?
I am, now that I'm back on live chat, as I should be. Mr. Stone, good evening, welcome, and hello. Hey up me dork, how you doing? Bill Richards, darling, no. Becky Bishop, hello, sweetie. Cousin Becky. Buggles. We've got Cicero in. Good evening, sir. Oh, good afternoon, I believe, for Cicero. Craig Campbell, how you doing? Dawn W. Huggles. Oh. Faxi M's 82, good evening. The ever gorgeous and vivacious Fee. Huggles. Free Rider Vapor, good evening. Oh, we got Rorty in. Grizz, good evening, sir. Hephaestus, again, dude, thank you so much. I really can't say thank you enough. John Vaping Joker, good evening. Kev WXM, all hits all day. How you doing, dude?
I'm always on the fizzy stuff.
Lynn Smith, good evening. Huggles. Mark H, just because we can. Huggles. Orion's Braces, Alan, dude. Are we ready to honk, boys? Are we ready to honk? Good man. Bunny! Honk, honk. Dawn Vaping Pasty, good evening. Huggles! And Vapor Queen Becky. Huggles! Now, let's see who else slipped in my back doors.
Haley's in there somewhere.
Gailey! Huggles! Not on the participants list, but let me scroll down. She's in there. Grateful Ant, good evening. Black Country Vapor, evening, Steve. Jasper.
Huggles to Jasper.
Who else we got? Orion's. We got Bex. Thank you, Hef.
Could have gone to Specsavers.
Oi, no need. No need.
Yeah, you steady on there, Trevor.
I think that's everybody on the list.
Vaping Snowman's just snuck under the...
Vaping Snowman.
Snowman! Huggles to Snowman.
Huge. Well, forget hoping everyone's well here. Gailey, wow. I don't know if you've been following Gailey's posts on Facebook, but the lady is having some success with this keto thing. I'm so impressed. Keep it up, Gailey.
Her and Zan are both doing well.
I didn't realise Zam was doing it as well. Oh,
Yeah,
fabulous.
I know Zam was doing it.
Oh, Gailey, big huggles. More huggles for Gailey. It's always fab when you see stuff like that. I've been intrigued by keto for a long time, but never given it a bash, so might give that a look.
I always thought keto was a dog.
I thought it was a little Chinese manservant, but
Hey, keto.
keto, you little yellow fool.
That a bin?
No, I like the full size for the cuddles. Definitely like the full size for the cuddles. But he looks like he's having a seizure when he gives huggles.
That's about as much exercise as I do have, to be honest with you. He's having a bloody heart attack.
Oh, bless. Well, we started this did we start something last week, didn't we?
We did.
Oh,
I don't know what we started, but we started it.
No, with the movies.
Your moves?
The boobies.
No, with the movies.
I thought you said moves.
So did I.
No,
With the
leave
movies.
my moves alone.
Oi, Trevor, listen a bit. You know, calm it down, Trev.
Smiley tits.
Stop it.
So
I know
you
they're
want to
getting
talk
bigger,
about the
but-
boobies.
The boobies. The bee boobies.
The bee boobies.
Yes.
Big boobies. Everybody likes the big boobies.
Dear God. Sam's lost 32 pounds in 4 weeks. That is amazing.
That is good.
UK Andy, good evening, sir.
Fist bump.
Wow. So, and there's been stuff going off in the States, hasn't there?
Oh yes, they sneaky little devils them.
Yeah, it's a bit worrying, that one.
Yeah.
I don't know if people have been keeping up with some of the posts, but not only have they suggested they ban synthetic nicotine, but they're effectively just going to steamroller it out, aren't they?
Yeah, straight away. They've not even added to a vote or anything. It's just been signed.
My boobies ain't going fucking anywhere.
And I
but
do believe it's the time scale that they're dealing with is sort of like something daft like 30 days.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, Biden's still got to sign it, so he's a dirty old fucker anyway, so he might you forget.
I think he signed it.
Well,
He has signed it.
Yeah, I thought he had. Yeah, because it all came up this morning. Obviously, I follow Grim Greenlight, and he posted it up on Twitter that he'd signed it.
Right, because I've just got, and he says the final step will be receiving President Biden's signature. Student.
I saw a good post about Biden the other day. There was a picture of the young lad playing the banjo from Deliverance. I thought, it kind of looks like him.
so, but Gailey's thrown me with that comment. My boobies ain't going anywhere but fucking south. Well, speaking of somebody down south. Sorry, Gailey, couldn't resist that one. No, I mean, Biden.
It's the only time he's going to actually admit that he's a southerner.
Well, and he took boobs to do it.
It took boobs. The power of the boobs.
See, that's what we should do with Ukraine. Just fly huge bosoms over the country. Every male participant in that war would just instantly look up. No fighting.
Tits are like train sets designed for kids, but men like to play with them too.
Yes. The foot-tiles who think they're running the US are so damn far out of touch with reality they don't even know what day it is, let alone if they've had their ass wiped. Bunny's not happy. Boobs are the answer to every problem, Dawn. I agree to that completely. Craig says I live further down south. You'll have to wait a while then, Craig. There may be a hold-up around the Nottinghamshire area.
And Bunny, Gailey said south, not west.
But I mean, going back to this synthetic thing, Biden has been gunning for vaping, and he was gunning for vaping on his presidential.
Oh God, he's been gunning for
trail.
vaping full stop. Him and his deputy.
Yeah, so it's not a surprise. Craig says happy to wait. Oh my God. It didn't take long, did it? So, I mean, Mark raised an interesting one before we went on live that obviously synthetic nicotine will also encompass the likes of insecticides, etc.
Yeah, of course it will. It's a big industry for that side of it.
Well, this is it. So, I mean, there's got to be a plan in place for something. That's what the worrying bit is. Because, I mean, there is an interesting article that Betty pointed out on Planet of the Vapes. Basically, they have to fill in a pre-market tobacco application. And certain companies will effectively get you can stay in the market. Now, there's going to be cost implications anyway.
Oh, well, there's always is. There's always got money involved.
But did you see, this is related, did you see the story on the BBC that the health service have turned round and now publicly said they wish they hadn't demonised nicotine?
Yeah.
It's something we've been saying for years.
They, what was it now? England Health,
Yeah.
or should I say Health England, which I always forget which way around it is. Basically, the 95% safer guys, they commented that, about 3-4 years ago, that they wished they'd never demonised actual nicotine. And it was the demonised... They had to find something to demonise cigarette smoking. And they went for the nicotine instead of the tar. And that's their downfall.
Because the message they were sending was nicotine is no more dangerous than caffeine.
Now they are.
Now they are. I really wish they had.
But yeah, they do regret saying that.
And there's the other crux of the matter. The government here owns tobacco. They want to own vapes, so they're tearing it down to redistribute it as theirs. Which I think that's a valid viewpoint there.
Well, I mean, we've said it. Well, I know I've definitely said it thousands of times over the years. The problem with vaping, I won't say it's problem. The thing with vaping, it's organic. It was no government that created it. It was no health organisation that created it. It was literally public passing that information on. It was word of mouth. That's how this has come to where we are now. This isn't by, any government saying, oh, you ought to go vaping. No, this is by word of mouth, and they don't like it. Because they want their finger in the pie.
Not without dinner. No.
That's
Dinner
what they want.
first.
They want it without the dinner. They want their cake and eat it.
No, dinner first. I'm not a slag.
Easy, Trevor.
Since when?
Oh, no need. Casting aspersions on my honour.
I've not casted anything that sounded like aspersions.
And it certainly wasn't me, Your Honour.
Becky, thanks for bobbing in.
Hello, Becky.
Movie night. Oh, excellent. Give him a hug from me, will you? Oh, bless. Mind, they're not so little now, they're huge. Even little ones shot up. It's scary. I'm getting old. Becky's my cousin, so yeah. That's why the governments want to control it, so they literally just throwing the toys out the pram because they don't want to take credit for vaping being so popular. Will do. Bless you.
See, this is what's always got me. We've been hammered home to stop smoking. You've got to stop smoking. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. And we've done it. We've stopped smoking. And it's all like 2 fingers up to them. But no, they're still not happy.
No, because it's not making any money.
Yeah, because I've not looked at the bigger picture. Think to myself, right, okay, we want the people of the world to become healthier. Let's get them to stop smoking. And then I've thought, oh shit, our coffers are slowly draining.
How do you like designs?
Howdy, boy. And I saw Dion's in as well.
Is Dion in? Hello.
Dion's in. Good evening, Dion. Yeah, it's scary times in the States at the minute because there doesn't appear to be a win. I mean, it's not just the Yanks. I mean, look at ours. All of a sudden, they've realised this electric vehicles is going to start draining the coffers. And they're looking at taxable ways to tax the electric vehicles.
Oh, it's going to be... You are going to... I guarantee you we'll have toll roads.
Well, the thing is, I think you're getting taxed on your electric vehicles anyway, because remember, when they brought in the zero emission thing, because remember, obviously, road tax was road tax back in the day, wasn't it? I mean, let's be honest about it. You paid road tax to drive on the fucking roads, right? And then when they started to bring in the emission laws, and then they started to say, well, your car doesn't make any emissions, so you don't need to pay road tax. And they thought, oops, everybody's buying these zero emission cars, so we're not getting road tax money in. Right, how do we go about that? What they do is they're now putting a massive tax onto brand new cars. So everybody's, if you buy a brand new car, you're paying the tax. I think it's over a period of 3 years, I think it is. So you're paying tax anyway. But I've always been an advocate of why everybody, to a certain extent, just now has got to buy fuel, petrol or diesel. Put it onto that, and it's done. But 2030, there's not going to be any more petrol and diesel cars being allowed to be purchased in the UK. But you're still going to be paying that additional tax on the initial cost of a brand new car. And the prices of some of these electric cars, Jesus Christ, I was looking at an electric motorbike the other day, a zero motorbike, I think it's called. And the cheapest one starts at 18 grand. And I'm like...
Yeah, but when you think about it, it's perfect as well. Because a lot less people will be able to afford to buy a car now. So that means less cars on the road. So it's win-win.
Yeah, but the stupid thing is, we can barely meet the current demand for electricity as it is. They are mothballing solid fuel.
There was a programme... sorry I seem to be interrupting you a lot.
No, that's all right.
I do apologise. There was a... it was like a what-if documentaries, and there was on the BBC. This was only probably about 2 years ago. I think it was before COVID kicked off, and it was different scenarios that happened in this country and how we would be affected. And they created a scenario, ironically how things are turning out, with the Ukraine and all that lot, and the pipeline was cut by terrorists and all that lot. And it was sort of like we'd lost X amount of fuel, so we couldn't generate enough power. And it took them, what was it? It was something daft like 3 weeks of us only having half the amount of electricity that we had. And obviously, because of it, we was having riots. There was all that going off because of it. It was really good. It was sort of like an hour long. Very much, you know how Threads is like a film come documentary?
Yeah.
It was like that. And it was sort of like, they followed a middle class family, and they followed a poor class family, and they followed obviously someone who was quite well off in the government and that. And it was a really good scenario. What would happen if we couldn't produce the electricity that we need? And it was literally 3 weeks, and the whole country was in disarray. That's how close we are to it.
Scary times. I mean, the thing is, if you grew up back in the 70s, I remember the brownouts. You know, I remember Mum and Dad packing us off to bed at silly o'clock, just so, you know, you were asleep. Yeah.
I mean, Mido, you're totally right. I mean, obviously, I remember most people round here didn't have a car. Or if they did have a car, it was just one car. But I will argue that one as well. Yes, people have got more than one car nowadays, but nobody works local anymore.
No.
Everyone has to commute to actually work. They've moved everything away. It's like here where I think I mentioned this on the other week. Here where I live, we used to have a mining. We had the pit. We used to have glass bulbs, shoe factory, and everybody in the village worked at them places. You could walk to work. You didn't need a car.
Yep.
Now everyone works away. Everyone commutes.
Oh, trying to get in your village at rush hour is getting silly. Even, I mean, they've just built a massive housing complex as well.
Oh God, they've built several housing complexes. Now we've got a storage unit that's bigger than blooming Amazon. It's huge, absolutely huge. It is.
You know, and it's getting to the point where the roads that we're no longer taxing, you know, they decided to cut the tax for, that was allegedly to build new roads, etc. You're trying to funnel all these new people onto an existing road system that could barely cope with the amount of traffic it had before.
But also, I mean, you've got to. I mean, we are struggling. I mean, this was going. I mean, I've got to put this. This was going on before the Ukraine incident happened. Prices was going up anyway. I mean, all of a sudden they're blaming everything on Ukraine now. It's not.
Instead of COVID.
It was already going up and everything before that went off. Now, if we are struggling at this very present moment on electricity and producing electricity, and they're wanting us to go on to more electricity, the balance sheets don't add up.
No.
At all. If we are struggling now at the present moment in time for electricity and to produce electricity, when you convert everybody all onto electricity, where are you going to get this power from?
Well,
there's what they said was at the tail end of last year that Scotland didn't produce enough electricity last year because we didn't have high enough wind to power the turbines.
Well, I was chuckling when I saw that fracking was being considered again. The thing that a lot of the Conservative MPs were all for, that got shot down by the public, and all of a sudden that's become a viable option again.
What happened? I mean, I don't know what happened to the nuclear power station at Hinkley Point, because it was the Chinese that was building that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Still being built.
Is it still going? I don't know if it's still ongoing or not.
Is that the one where the French pulled out?
Yeah.
Surprise.
Let's have a look.
At the rate things are going around, they're going to have to open up the coal mines again. Because fracking isn't viable. We are too small a country. See, where America was fracking, it was so like big open spaces. I mean, it's so like huge, but we're a tiny little country.
Right, Hinkley Point is expected to start in 2026 with a build cost of 22 to 23 billion to be paid back over a 35-year period. And it's EDF.
So we'll be ready for pulling up the daisies by the time we've paid for that.
Yeah, pretty much. I think by this rate we'll be just clubbing each other to death and roasting each other in fires in the streets.
Yeah, and I mean, it's getting to the ridiculous stage here in Glasgow as well. I mean, I don't think we're the only city that's got it at the moment. We're getting low emission zones coming in here in April, I think it is, and you cannot take. Hold on, I'm just reading this here just now. Any diesel engine vehicle registered after 2015 and petrol engine vehicles registered after 2006 onwards will usually meet the required emission standards. So any cars older than that, vehicles older than those ages, will not be allowed in Glasgow city centre. So there's a vast majority of black Hackney taxis.
Yeah,
are going to be off the road. I couldn't take my car. My car's a 2012. I can't take my car into the city centre.
What about buses and like that?
Well, the thing is, what they've actually said now is because all this is going off, they're actually saying that Glasgow City Council or city councils, I'm just not too sure if it's more in Scotland or it's just Glasgow at the moment, the city council themselves can now start their own bus companies again, because they used to have, it was Glasgow Corporation buses, that's what it used to have in like the 70s. And then it got opened up to everybody, and First Bus became the biggest bloody bus, fucking, what do you call them, company in the UK, basically, because they're everywhere. But the Glasgow Corporation buses all get phased out, but they're now talking that Glasgow Council can actually have their own bus company within Glasgow City Centre, and they're talking about electric buses and things like that.
Yeah, but they got rid of all blooming trams, didn't they?
Yeah. Sent them over to Hong Kong. I agree completely, mate. It may be a cleaning of the genetic pool that's...
See, the taxi drivers now are kicking up hell about it, because there's a lot of these guys. I mean, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night in Glasgow, any city centre, you'll find a taxi driver's that's their busiest night. Black hacks especially.
Yeah.
And a lot of these guys cannot afford to go out and buy a new taxi to meet the emissions laws.
And then also you've got the other side of it. What about all the people that just won't bother going into Glasgow town centre?
See, to be honest with you, Glasgow town centre's shit now, to be honest, anyway. But and the other side of that coin too, Mark, is you're going to get a lot of people stranded in Glasgow city centre that can't go home because there's no transport there to get people home anymore.
And that's going to have a knock-on effect for actual businesses that are actually in the town centre.
Yeah.
Either it be cafes, bars and things like that, that bring in the tourism side of it and things.
But that's all that's really in Glasgow city centre now, is bars, restaurants and things like that, because all the major shops that used to be in Glasgow city centre are all shut down and moved out towards shopping malls and larger shopping centres out with Glasgow city centre.
Will they be doing like park and rides and things like that? Are they going to be creating them?
Well, they do that anyway at the underground stations. I don't know. I've yet to read all up on this, but this is going to cause pandemonium. And
the problem is that's the way that a lot of cities now are going. I mean, York has a brilliant park and ride system.
Yeah, York does.
And electric buses, so that gets around the emissions.
Yeah, but that's what kind of lead on to as well. I mean, that goes back to what Mark said as well. I mean, the likes of where Mark stays, you need a lot of infrastructure and jobs, companies and things like that round about where Mark lives. So local people used to work there, but people are having to move further afield for jobs nowadays. And they're trying to ram down your throat, if you can leave your car at home, get public transport. Bollocks. To get public transport to where half the people work, they'd need to be up and out the house before 4:00 in the bloody morning to start at 9. Because they'd get 4 and 5 buses or a train or whatever to get to their work. And then it's the same coming back home again. So it doesn't work. Unless
I don't know what it's like around your end, but like around our end, they're reducing the bus services. They're reducing them, not increasing them.
No,
and the amount they charge for getting, I mean, especially for, it's like, if I want to go to Doncaster, it's not even 10 miles away, That's going to cost me 7-8 quid
Yeah.
on a bus. I mean, blooming 7-8 quid. That is a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably might to a lot of people that might not sound a lot of money, but when you're on minimum wage and that's a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean the likes of the park and ride at some of the train stations and stuff. The car parks that they've got, they're not big enough to accommodate the amount of cars that people are taking there anyway. Because they're all trying to ram this car sharing down your throats as well. You know, you shouldn't just be only one person in a car. Well, I'm the only person who works for this company that stays in this area. So what you want me to do? You want me to drive to Ayrshire and here, there, and everywhere, pick up another half a dozen people to take them into work because it's more cost effective for you fuckers? No, that ain't happening.
No, 100%. And I mean, we're talking about power problems. Fee's probably the biggest expert in chat.
Yeah, but the shed loan, and yeah, that's
just scary. You know, and potentially that could be the way we all head.
Yeah.
You know, the way it's going. But shall we move on to a lighter note?
Yes.
Oh, we're going to talk about our movie night.
I think we ought to.
Well, I'm going to kick this one off. After our lovely discussion that obviously brought onto the main topic of this show, I wanted to mention one film that isn't exactly a B movie, but it's a TV movie. And that's the Stephen King's Langoliers.
Oh, a classic.
Yes.
Two-parter. Yes. Oh. Well, the other one that immediately brings to mind is Survivor. The James Herbert adaptation that was back in the 70s. Not so much of a B movie, but it didn't exactly take off at the cinema. It sort of became more of a watched film on video and DVD. What's his face that was in the Detectives with Jasper Carrot? Robert.
Jealousy will get you nowhere, heifers.
Oh, we've done worse than that, mate.
No, we haven't.
Yes, we have.
Whoa. What is worse? I want to know what is worse than me snuggling up with you watching a film?
Or snuggled up together in your little man cave building a website.
That's not worse than snuggling up and watching a film. That's two grown, mature men sat side by side
in their cardboard
with the proper distance between each other, creating a website.
That's not a pillow.
Good game.
Evening, Graham.
Good evening, Graham.
Robert Powell, that's it. That's who was in the Survivor. That was actually a bloody good story. But, yeah, the Langlers. It was interesting though, because that sort of, for a TV movie, the special effects on that did really stretch.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in probably about a year or so, but yeah, it's a 3-hour long film because obviously I've got it on DVD, but considering it was a TV adaptation film, I thought it would bring into our kind of B movies.
Well, the original adaptation of Salem's Lot with David Soul.
That freaked the shite out of me.
The kid scratching at the window.
I'm going to be honest. It's still one of the only scenes that still sends shivers up my spine. Is that
was scary. See, now Orion's put some choices in. We've got Freebie in the Bean, Fear is the Key, which I've never seen and don't know anything about, and Jewel, which I have seen, and that's a corker.
Freebie in the Bean was excellent. Jewel was fat. You were sitting on the edge of your seat with that.
Oh, big time. The other one that I thought of, Hitchhiker.
Yeah.
Rutger Hauer. That one had me on.
Was that actually a B movie, though?
Yeah, that was a B movie.
I think you can class it as a B movie because it became a cult classic, and I think that is the thing with B movies. I mean, back in our day, in our generation, when everybody used to go to the local video shop, and you had that straight to video wall,
Yeah.
and then you had your blockbusters over here. And majority of those kind of films, like say the hits and stuff, it was in that straight to video. Although it
Yeah,
wasn't.
well, I mean, it's like the Reanimator series and things like that. I would class them as B movies, but probably weren't officially B movies.
Yeah, but Diageo's Demons, that's classed as a B movie, but that did hit the cinemas. Happy Birthday to Me, that hit the cinemas.
And Demons had a fantastic soundtrack, and it was a goth soundtrack.
It was. But the other one, John Carpenter's Vampires, that is a cracker of a film, but I'm fairly certain it had a very limited run in the cinemas. Because when it hit DVD, that it really took off.
Essence.
Hey up, Essence. Yeah, I mean, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, another classic.
Another one of John Carpenter. I mean, John Carpenter made a load of B movies, and one of the very first movies of his that I ever seen was Assault on Precinct 13,
and that was a classic.
I think the first one I ever saw of his was Escape from New York.
Yeah.
Or should I say, I knew it was him. If that makes sense. You know, like Halloween, you knew it was John Carpenter. You kind of associate, because a lot of the times when I first started watching films, I sort of wasn't worried of who actually made it. I just enjoyed that film. And then obviously, as you get a little bit older, you realise that it's that director.
Yeah.
Oh God, Earth Girls Are Easy.
That was Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis. Yeah.
See, I mean, that one again bombed at the cinema, took off on video.
I mean, look at what was the Hudson Hawk with Bruce Willis. I mean, I thought that was an absolutely fantastic. It was an out and out fun movie, bombed in the cinema, but it's just one of those movies that you can sit and watch and you have a right good giggle at.
Oh, Prince of Darkness. Now there's a John Carpenter film that deserves.
That was fucking weird.
I loved the idea though that you got the devil trapped by the church in that cylinder. Just awesome.
Idle Hands.
See, these are the movies now. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, some of these movies are 30 odd years old now when you think about it. And then, obviously, being a hell of a lot younger, you go and you watch these movies and you go, I kind of really didn't understand that. But if you to watch it now, you would see it for a shit movie to begin with, but you would understand that a hell of a lot better, I think, because there's a lot more.
Do you know what I think is so sweet? That Betty turned around and says, some of these movies are 30 years old. Try 40.
I know.
See, I mean, the likes of Buckaroo Banzai, that was always designed to be a B movie, but that's taken on cult status. You've got Dark Angel, Dolph Lundgren. That is a brilliant B movie, and it's a cracking bit of sci-fi.
I mean, can you class the original Dune as a B movie?
It is actually classed as a B movie. Tremors is a B movie.
Oh, Tremors was definitely a B movie.
But I mean, the likes of Newcomb High and the rest of it, they're all B movies.
See, that's going back to what I was saying when we were younger and used to go to Blockbuster Video, your local video store. That was the section of. That was all the shit B movies.
Would we class them as R B movies?
Yes, I would say so.
Yeah, Because it's so like that's what I remember. There
Yeah.
was the cheesy ones that we'd watch.
Yeah, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes and all this,
Yeah.
things like that, Piranha. I mean, some of the stupid ones, Toxic Avenger and things like that, Return of Swamp Thing, and
That was a cracker. That was so underrated. The Return of Swamp Thing.
again, though, as you say, it was underrated at the time, but these movies have all now become cult classics.
Rollerball.
Rollerball, we spoke about that last week, and that is brilliant.
But Big Boss and Little China, Enter the Dragon, they were B movies.
Evil Dead was a B movie.
Yeah. Oh, Evil Dead was definitely a B. Saying that, Hellraiser was a B movie.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, I think Mark said last week, B movies are basically movies with a very low budget. That's classed as a B movie. But if you think about the more modern B movies, likes of Planet Terror, the Grindhouse style movies with what was his name? Oh God, I can't remember the director's name.
Kurt Russell, Tarantino.
Was it Tarantino? I think it was Tarantino or somebody called Rodriguez. I'm not 100% sure now. But it doesn't matter. But those movies had massive productions. They weren't cheap movies to make. I mean, I thought one of the most hilarious things in that Planet Terror was in Charmed. Get the leg chopped off and get the machine gun strapped to her leg. That was hilarious. And she's spinning around the bloody floor shooting all these zombies. I just thought that was absolutely brilliant. Because it took me back to those movies. Was that
film, though, sort of like taken, how can you put it, taking the mickey of pretending to be a B movie?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but other B movies, what about Clerks? Mallrats?
Mallrats is awesome. But I mean, like Craig's just mentioned Nicolas Cage. Drive Angry, that was a B movie.
Raising Arizona, that's got to be classed as a B movie.
Yeah, Moonshot. That horrible thing he did with Cher, but I mean the other one.
Can you do horrible things to Cher?
Oh yes.
Yeah, sitting next to the fire and she face to face on him.
Oh, Rocky Horror was definitely a B movie.
Oh yeah, Beastmaster with Mark Singer. That's a classic, but that's a B movie.
But do you not think the majority of B movies, pardon me, were either slasher flicks, cheap shitty sci-fi movies,
or Barbarian,
or horror movies, or kind of fantasy style movies?
Oh, there were so many fantasy. I mean, the Slayer, the Sorcerer and the King, Beastmaster, Red Sonja. That was a B movie.
Krull.
Yeah. That was a classic.
With a big eye.
But Krull
Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
That was a B movie. With Queen music.
Yeah.
Definitely a B movie.
I mean, to be honest, anything after Highlander.
Fuck, Highlander was a bloody B movie, for Christ's sake.
Space Hunter.
Oh my God.
Oh.
That was
Dark Crystal. God, that was
Molly Ringwald. Was Molly Ringwald in that?
Well, Cherry 2000. That's another one with the android. See, Omega Doom, Rutger Hauer again. This is illustrating your point that most of it was cheap and schlocky high sci-fi. You know, there was a shitload of cyberpunk movies. You know, Lawnmower Man 2.
I like Lawnmower Man 2.
That was straight to DVD though. That never hit the cinemas. Dogma. I love
Dogma.
That was brilliant, that.
Nighthawks. That's one of the few films that always tears me up. What a film. The two lads who are dying of cancer and basically one of them's a nutter and the other one's just going along with him.
I mean, look at the influx of martial arts movies that hit the small screen in the 80s.
No Retreat, No Surrender.
Anything with Cynthia Rothrock in it.
Yeah.
And Seagal.
Steven Seagal, yeah.
Hard to Kill.
He just put his arm out and just clotheslined people. That's all he did.
I mean, same like with that blood sports,
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
yeah, which was virtually the same as the movie previous, because every movie he does, he had to stretch his legs from 2 parts of bamboo.
Oh yeah.
So,
While he was in MFI getting a kitchen.
Well, kickboxers started it all off for him, didn't it?
yeah.
But
Well, saying that, Terminator was originally a B movie. The first Terminator.
Terminator was actually a remake of Van Outer Limits.
Ooh.
Short.
Well, Caddyshack. Now there's a classic B movie. That one came out of nowhere. Oh, because it had Chevy chasing.
I've got one for you. Let's see if you can remember this one. And I can remember going to the cinema to see this. Time Rider, The Adventure of Lyle Swan.
No.
I bet there's people sitting out there in chat going, man, I can remember that. I'll tell you who was in it. What do you call him? Fred Ward.
Fred Ward? Oh, as in Monsters.
As in Tremors.
Oh, right.
There's nobody in chat. Did nobody in chat ever see that? Was that the only poor sad bastard that went to the cinema to watch it?
Lynn's just pulled me on something. Nighthawks is a Stallone film. It's Hawks I'm thinking of with Timothy Dalton.
What about Hills Has Eyes?
Yes. Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Chainsaw Massacre. I Spit on Your Grave.
Thriller Killer.
Thriller Killer. Yeah.
Oh, what was the other one? The one with he brings a girl back from the lab and infects her with this sort of slug that turns her into a ultra-violent sex fiend. Oh, I'm going to have to think on that one. Werewolf in London, that's a classic. Stick to the path.
Ding, ding, ding.
That was Rick Mayall's first film appearance. That was. Yeah. In the scene, in the slaughtered lamb, Rick Mayall is part of the extras.
Oh, right.
The bird.
He's clever, isn't he?
No, it's only because I noticed it one day and thought, oh, and I looked it
You're
up.
turning into a right little clever Trevor.
Stop it. Bloody hell. Nighthawk. Which one's that with Stallone then? Nighthawks.
That's the one where he plays a detective, and right at the very end, he's dressed as a woman, and he turns his back. The guy breaks into the house to. Is that right? I
thought that was Cobra.
No, that's fucking Marion Cabretti. The only good thing about that movie was the fucking car that they blew up.
And yes, I remember that one, The Lair of the White Worm.
Oh, the bit with the Boy Scout, bless him. He didn't expect that on Bobber Job.
Mr. Valentine, good afternoon.
Oh, bless. Yes, Larry the White Worm. That's Hugh Grant playing the young laird. Cue the winged serpent.
Oh God, I can remember. Yeah, Quetzalcoatl.
Now,
Don't look. It always flew into the sun, so nobody could see it. And I thought, that's shite. What if people who were fucking facing the other direction? They would see the fucking thing.
that was the one where she was sunbathing on the roof at the start of the film, and it swoops, the camera swooped down. The next thing you know, there's all this gore and blood just raining on people.
Yeah, but you couldn't see it because it flew into the sun. Bollocks. I was shouting at the TV when I watched. He would fucking see it. My dad's shouting, "Shut up!" But it's just sit there and shut the fuck up. But you would see it. Okay.
I mean, the one I liked was back in the early 90s. You had that sudden surge of interest in anime. So you got all the Godzilla remakes. You got Guiver 1 and 2.
Oh,
They were
yeah, I
crackers.
remember them.
You know, I mean, there was some cracking stuff. And that was the sort of start of the Japanese love affair. Sam!
The only one that I can actually say I sat and watched was, hey, let me get this one right now. Howl's Moving Castle.
Oh, I love that.
That's the only film I can actually say Japanese anime that I've actually sat and watched from start to finish. There's one of the ones that there's a guy I used to work with years ago. He gave me, he says, "What?" He says, "I got all these manga DVDs. What?" He says, "They're absolutely brilliant. Watch them." I'm like, that's cartoon fucking porn with monsters.
Yeah.
I'm like,
If you were watching Legend of the Overfiend, it was.
yeah, that was one of them. I remember that one. Yeah.
But I
Are
mean,
they the monsters with the big erect...
yes.
Big tentacles.
Yes. Except they're not tentacles, and we know they're not tentacles because they didn't actually fill the colour in. They were just white, and it was fairly obvious. Yeah, that's the film that Mark Hamill played the cop in, the first Guiver film.
They were
That was
good, they
cool.
were.
The Howling, another classic B movie, and that spawned so many other films. I mean, Howling 2.
Yeah. It spawned so many other films. Right? I think we're up to about Howling 7.
Well, they ended up rebooting the franchise, didn't they?
It was the one where the male and female were making love in front of the bonfire and all that, and then it was a shite animation bit where they turned into the wolves and they're humping one another, and I'm like, fuck off.
I want to see some boobs. Dog Soldiers, that's another cracker.
Did I not see? I'm sure I saw something not that long ago that they were actually supposed to be making a part 2.
I hope it's
Really?
got Sean Pertwee in then, if they are.
Could be wrong, but
See, American Werewolf in Paris, I really enjoyed that film. So many of my mates hated that.
Yeah.
It added a bit. Not a lot, but a bit. There was a lot of the original sort of laughs in it.
Yeah, but I think the Paris one was a bit more money spent on it, though.
Yeah, but I mean, that sort of tongue-in-cheek humour was still in there. I did enjoy
If
that.
you're talking about tongue-in-cheek, what about Elvira?
Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Oh, yes, the bosom.
Oh, she was lovely, yeah. See?
I mean,
Boobs.
Life
Makes everything
Force.
better.
Life Force, that's another cracker.
Oh,
Vampires from
yeah.
Space.
I'm trying to think.
oh,
Oh, The Fortress. That's the one I was trying to think of.
Oh, Fortress, Christopher Lambert.
Yeah.
The prison where the women are forced to effectively, the men and women are separated, but the women are giving birth, and then the children are being turned into clones, the embryos. Yeah. That was a cool. The follow-up was good as well, Fortress 2, the one set in space. I
But
thought
that was
cool.
also like the same genre as Running Man.
Yes, that sort of feel to it.
And what was the one where we were in Mars? Total Recall.
See, now they tried to remake Total Recall, and it just completely stripped out the feel of it.
Colin Farrell.
Yeah, I've got that.
It was a good movie in its own right, but it was no Total Recall.
Oh, God, no.
Hardware, that was awesome. That was the one where they found the robot in the nuclear wasteland, brought it back. She was an artist, and it started rebuilding itself. I think it had a Motorhead soundtrack, actually.
The Cube. Oh, I've got all the cubes. I think they're fantastic.
Consider this a
Yeah, you've got Cube, Hypercube, and Cube Zero.
There's one, Black Country, Extra.
Oh, God.
Remember the build that is E.T. Was it E.T. Nasty?
Not all ETs are friendly.
Yeah, that was chronic.
But I mean, was it Inseminator? The one where there was a group of scientists on this planet, and one of them ended up being possessed by this alien beast after it had raped her. It was well dodgy.
Oh, that's a lovely film. That Battery's Not Included. I loved that film.
That was a Yeah,
That was a blockbuster, that one.
yeah. With
It's a lovely film, but it's not.
It's a lovely film, though.
Hume
It was very
Cronin.
cocoon, wasn't it?
Yeah, Hume Cronin and Jessica. Was it
Jessica
Jessica
Lange.
Tandy? No, Jessica Tandy.
Candy.
Tandy. Was it Jessica Tandy?
Entity, that's the
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
That freaked me the fuck out. That.
Entity.
Ooh, what about Species?
That was a corker.
I don't think that was a B movie, though, but...
No, it wasn't. The first two were good, and after that was cack. Can you remember The Keep?
The Who?
Yes. Now that's so underrated. The Keep.
I wish to God they'd remake that. I mean that was book one of the Adversary series by F. Paul Wilson. And the book series was actually it was brilliant. It was
That's a
really,
book.
really good. It's a series of books called the Adversary Cycle, I think it is. Yeah, they're fantastic books. But yeah, that was such an underrated movie. I think it was Scott Glenn was in it.
Didn't that have a Clockwork Orange doing the soundtrack?
I don't know if it was a Tangerine Dream. I think I can't remember.
Sorry, not Clockwork Orange. Tangerine Dream. I'm sure it was.
Who are actually
Clockwork Orange,
actually touring the UK this year.
What's her face, that woman?
What?
Clockwork Orange, the Wendy Carlos.
No.
Did the music for Clockwork Orange. Also did the some of the themes to Shining as well.
Yeah, Scott Glenn was in it. Gabriel Burns, Ian McKellen. Because Ian McKellen played the Doctor, didn't he?
He played, yeah.
Gaily Bob's asked, were there any B movies that
Yes.
weren't fantasy and sci-fi or horror? Yeah. The Fantastic Journey with the dog, the cat, and the moose.
The Fantastic Four, the 1994 one that nobody talks about.
Mm-hmm.
And the Fantastic Journey, that was on before Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day, if I remember.
Well, it was on before Dumbo for me.
Blimey. Yeah, because
I mean, you could actually class things like Inner Space. Yeah, that was a
Inner Space.
B-esque.
Yeah, it had that feel, didn't it?
But the original start with the B movies was it was cheap sci-fi, cheap horror from the 50s. But I mean, there's a load of B movies out there that are not classed within that fantasy sci-fi genre.
Believe it or not, just go onto Amazon. There's loads of them.
One of my favourite B movies was Little Shop of Horrors.
But I would say, Itchy. I'm trying to think of its full title. Is it Itchy the Killer? Is where he has his mouth all open and that up. He's Japanese or Korean.
Oh, the Iron Man.
No, I'm Itchy. I'm sure it's called Itchy the Killer or something like that.
I mean, Gailey, you got all the Nico and the Hard to Kill, the Steven Seagal gritty New York cop ones. What was the one with Bruce Willis where they were androids? People downloaded. It was the murder. It was a fairly
Thanks,
recent.
Adam. Itchy the Killer. I'm glad I remembered it right.
Quigley Down Under, that was a cracker. Quigley, the Tom Selleck playing the cowboy that ended up in Australia.
I'll give you a good
Surrogates, that's it.
Blazing Saddles. Planes, Trains and Automobiles.
Those aren't B movies. Westworld at the time was a
Yeah,
blockbuster.
Westworld was a B movie.
Is that a B movie? I thought that was a blockbuster.
I don't think it was.
But
We're
Lupus
questioning
is good.
Westworld as whether it was a B movie. I'm just thinking with Yul Brynner.
Yeah. But saying that, Zardos had Sean Connery in. That was definitely a B movie.
there's a load of comedy B movies, you know, Hollywood Boulevard, Mars Attacks, as we spoke about, Rocky Horror Picture Show,
Young
Attack of the Killer,
Young Frankenstein.
eh?
Young Frankenstein. Spaceballs.
Young Frankenstein was brilliant.
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein. Roderick Frankenstein. Attack of the Killer Donuts. Jesus Christ.
What about zombie strippers?
I bought a vampire motorcycle.
What was the one I saw the other night in Amazon Prime? Cockneys v Zombies.
That's actually a good film, that. It is, honestly. That is really... It's B-movie material, but it's a good film.
I'm sure there's a strippers versus werewolves as well.
Eh?
There's a strippers versus werewolves.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. Zombievers.
Killer nuns with guns.
That was just obscene, that killer nuns with guns. That really was. Yeah, there you go. Westworld, budget 1.2 mil, box office takings 10 mil. I'd say that comes under blockbuster.
Yeah. I just think it feels like a B-movie now.
Now, The Babysitter. That was, what's his face out of Fast and Furious? Vin Diesel. That was a Disney sort of flop. But that's become quite the B movie. Zombie strippers, every menopausal woman tried to get undressed.
As daft as it sounds, was the original Mad Max classed as a B movie?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. Christine as well. And Cujo.
In the original Australian dialogue, it was classed as a B movie, and then the Americans couldn't understand the Australian accent, so they dubbed it.
I never knew that.
Watch the original one. The original one's hilarious.
All right, Bunny, pacifier. Sorry. Wasn't babysitter, it was pacifier. I was thinking of Adventures in Babysitting, which was definitely a B movie and shit. But Darkman, that was a B movie.
Liam Neeson.
Yeah, that was not a blockbuster.
I like Next to Kin.
Bad Boy Bubby as well. That was a art house B movie. That one touched on some quite disturbing topics. Bubby was locked in a nuclear bunker with his mum, and there was non-mummy stuff going off. It was very weird.
I never rated the Blair Witch. I actually preferred Blair Witch 2.
I've never seen it.
But I don't like these films that pretend that they're a blooming camcorder. You know, like Cloverfield and that.
Yeah.
Jack Death, Trancers. That was brilliant.
Oh, Scanners.
Scanners, yes.
David Cronenberg.
Robo-Jocks as well. That was a cracking B movie.
Robo-Jocks. Just the name. It had to be a B movie. I mean, come on, let's face it. It's all about to do with boobs anyway, because it was guaranteed if it were a B movie horror film, it were boobs.
Oh, Lemon Popsicle.
Sorority babes in the slime ball bolorama.
Oh my God. Now, there's one here called Bible Man. Unbelievable. I've never seen this one, but apparently released in 1996, tuning out the unholy hero. Christian B movies. How bad can it get?
Oh, blooming heck, Free Jack with Mick Jagger. I remember that. Wasn't
That
it
was
Emilia
brilliant.
Estevez in that one?
Blind Fury as well. The one where Rutger Hauer played the blind Vietnam vet that had incredible ninja skills.
He certainly did have them ninja skills.
Phantasm was definitely a B movie.
Oh, yeah, Phantasm.
And The Blob.
Both of them.
Both of them, yes.
House.
All of them.
All of them.
God. I'm trying to see. Bordello. Oh, do you remember those? Bordello of Blood and Demon Night.
I remember Warlock.
They were the movies from Tales from the Crypt. Russ Meyer's films. Oh, let's not even go there. Wedlock, definitely. That was a B movie and that was a cracker. That actually spawned other films. That storyline. Warlock was great.
I enjoyed Warlock.
Now,
Warlock, what
about Widnail and I?
was that? Julian Sands? Is that one?
Yes, that's Warlock too.
Yeah,
No, that's Warlock because he played the Warlock. Yeah.
He was the same guy that was. Is it Killing Helena?
Yes.
Boxing Helena.
Boxing Helena.
That Boxing Helena.
Fucking meant to see that.
And
as well.
they did Blue Velvet and all, weren't they?
Blue Velvet, yes. Brain Damage. That's another one. What else we got?
Freddy
Oh, the
Got
Bro-
Fingered. I remember watching that. Jeeves.
That was an uncomfortable film to watch.
Yeah, guys.
The Bride. Do you remember that? The remake of Frankenstein with Sting.
No.
No.
1985. That was one of Sting's first films.
I think I've only ever seen him in Dune.
Quadrophenia.
Oh, yeah. I've never watched Quadrophenia. Never watched it.
And yeah.
Nope.
Oh, Children of the Corn.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was a big movie. God. Circuitry Man as well. I remember watching that one. That one was crap.
I mean, get back to the late 70s, mate. You remember that they were made for, well, I don't know if they're made for TV movies, but like say Swarm,
Yeah.
with the killer
Oh, God,
African
yeah, with the-
bees and things like that. And you had, oh shit.
What was the one with the Brazilian soldier ants?
Oh,
There was one about killer ants.
I know the one you're talking about as well.
What about the Time Machine?
The original one.
The original one. Was that a B movie?
I think that was a the remake that happened in the 80s.
That
That
wasn't a
one-
patch on the original.
No, that wasn't a patch on the original.
Guy Pearce and that little Irish singer. What's her name?
Yeah. Oh, the original Van Damme Cyborg. That was definitely a B movie.
Time Cop.
I don't know if Time Cop counts as a B movie.
It should have been.
Well, it was shit.
It was, but oh God.
I don't know if it's classed as a B movie or not, but I think it was a low budget. The Jacket.
Oh, Jackie Chan.
No, trying to think of his name. He's the guy with the really thin face, very pointy nose. He played in the Pianist.
Oh, him.
I think he. I
was
might
he
be
was
wrong.
on-
I think he was a French guy,
No, I think he's English.
but he looked like a French guy then.
My Christopher Lambert's been in some bloody B movies.
Oh God, he's been in loads.
No, look, let me check with the Pianist because he lost so much weight for that role.
Because the Pianist was a fantastic film, that.
Adrian Brody. That's the guy you're thinking of.
Universal Soldier. Which one?
Now, The original was a blockbuster, but the follow-on ones were definitely straight to DVD.
Unisol.
The Exterminator. There's one I've not heard of in a while. And Wraith, but I mean, we mentioned that last week. That was a cracker. That was
Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I mean, get back to the 50s. It's the day the Earth stood still. The original Fly.
House on Haunted Hill.
Anything with Vincent Price in it.
Flesh God. That was just the naughty version.
I mean, some of the more modern ones, like Eight-Legged Freaks, Slither. That was hilarious.
What was the one where Tuppence had teeth? Was it called Teeth?
No.
Oh, yes, there is one in the 90s called Teeth. Teenage girl that's got teeth in her hoo-ha.
Yeah, and then that other with Chatterbox was the one that talked.
That was Pussy Talk. And that was just pure porn.
Chatterbox was. I'm sure that's the name of. She had a talking box.
Yeah, that's the one with the Pinocchio puppet. That's Pussy Talk. Firewalker with Lou Everett Jr. and Chuck Norris. Do you remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
It was a sort of Indiana Jones rip-off, but with Chuck Norris karate kicking every bugger.
There were a lot of them type of films, though, weren't they? The Raiders of the Lost Ark rip-offs.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, Fright Night. I've forgotten about Fright Night. Roddy McDowell.
Yeah, and...
Things are even worse than that. It's Aldi's.
Fright Night was Roddy McDowell and David Tennant. Was that it? Or am I thinking the right one?
Well, there's Friday Night 1, which was where the vampire was next door to the boy and his mum, and then Friday Night 2, where his sister, the original vampire that they killed, appeared. But there's the Nemesis ones as well. That was pure cyberpunk. What's that? What? Carry on.
He's going to do it. Whatever that is, it's coming. It's on tip of his tongue.
So when I'm thinking of them with David Tennant was in it.
What we did on our holidays?
David Tennant.
Now, Howard the Duck. There's a B movie.
I would have classed Howard the Duck as a B movie. I know it flopped.
Big time.
But he was in one of the Marvel movies.
David Tennant?
No,
Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck was in the Infinity Gauntlet.
That's right.
Iron Eagle. Do you remember them?
Was that Lou Gossett Jr.?
Yeah. God almighty. See, these have got Jaws in.
Yeah, I'm right enough. It was the remake Fright Night, the 2011 version of Fright Night. David Tennant was on it.
Oh, now here's one. Anybody remember The Last Dragon? It was like from the Nutty Professor, the Soul Globe family. It was almost like they'd learned Kung Fu. And it was brought out by MTV. And the whole idea was that when you became this karate master, you developed the glow. And this guy was
Ready Breck.
Yeah, he was actually called Bruce Lee, but he changed his name to Bruce Lee. He was a black American. And you'd got this guy who based himself on the samurai, who was basically a street hood. And it was all set to a hip-hop background music track.
I got a karate chop, you motherfucker!
That's it. It was based on you Dolomite and Bruce Lee sort of all rolled into one.
Oh God, Gailey, Battlefield Earth. Oh my,
Oh, that was awful.
L. Ron Hubbard.
Yeah, but didn't John Travolta sink a load of his own money into it?
Because there was a Scientologist that paid for that. Sharknado. They're just a movie you can stick on and giggle all the way right through them.
No, I hate those films. Now the other one,
Lake Placid. There's another one.
Cheating
Wing-
show.
do you remember Wing Commander? It was based on the computer game.
Vaguely.
It was a cracker. I think it was Freddie Prinze in that one. I'm going to have to check that.
Sam, man, Waterworld was a flop, but what a bloody picture. I thought that was an amazing movie. Waterworld.
I enjoyed Waterworld. It was basically a Mad Max film.
Piranha's definitely B-movie.
Yeah.
Which one?
The original, the 70s one.
The 1978. I can remember seeing that in the movies.
That was brilliant, though. The idea that terrorists were going to let these piranhas loose into the
into the reservoir. And
Freddie Prinze Jr. He was in Wing Commander, as was the geezer that played Shaggy, Matthew Lillard. Lake Placid. Wasn't that the one with the giant crocodile?
They found the toe. I thought it was taller.
Oh, The Postman. I really enjoyed The Postman.
I was going to say, I hadn't seen that film. Waterworld and the Postman. That's a new one.
Soggy Letters.
That just sounds wrong.
I've got to admit, I did enjoy that Kevin Costner one. It had.
See, I'm just flicking through a list here of best B movies, and they've got Masters of the Universe, the Dolph Lundgren He-Man.
Oh, God.
As a B movie.
I would say yes.
Yeah, I would know. Definitely, that was a B movie.
But when it was first released, it was a blockbuster. I mean, Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Yeah, but the only reason it became a blockbuster was because Mattel, the cartoon was ongoing at the time. Mattel brought out all the toys, so it was ongoing at that particular time. So it was a big thing at the time because everything else was all out as well.
It seemed like the Transformers, though, isn't it? The Transformer toys was out before the actual cartoon was out.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Right. As Gailey's just reminding us, 'tis time to floof.
Well, we can't call him the boss.
No, it's calling you the boss.
You can floof me. Floof me.
Stop it. You bad man.
Down to floof the boss. Don't forget, in about 5-10 minutes, the UK Vape Show with Vic, Aidan, Adam, and Grizzly.
Yes. War Games.
I love War Games.
War Games was definitely a blockbuster. Gailey.
It's not long.
Puppet Master.
Oh, God, yeah.
That was definitely B-movie fodder.
Was the original Chucky, though?
There's a question.
Because there was dolls, and there seemed to be a lot of that toy thing going off in the early 80s. Because you had Chucky, dolls, Puppet Master.
God.
Oh, I love Damnation Alley. Absolutely love it.
It's on YouTube.
Oh,
I've got it on Blu-ray.
if you ever get a chance, Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins. It is so cheesy. It is superb.
That was Fred Ward again, wasn't it?
It was, and it was one hell of a movie.
Yes, District 9 was a B movie. An Australian B movie.
Bloody hell.
District 9.
Oh, what was the robot one? They had Diane Wood in it.
Short Circuit.
No.
Chappie.
Chappie, that's it. I'd class that as a B
District
movie.
9. District 9 was South African.
Well, if we're talking...
So was Chappie.
You said Australian.
Did you say Australian? I meant South African.
If we're talking robots, Runaway, Tom Selleck.
Nah, Short Circuit. Hey, Laser Lips, your mother was a snowblower.
Looking for stuff, isn't he?
No,
Right.
this is him.
Not this December, Johnny number 5.
B movie, and it might not have been a B movie. Mannequin.
It should have been a B movie.
I'm trying to think of films that are not sci-fi or horror related.
Sheena. Like a female Tarzan.
Fuck. She was a Bond girl, wasn't she?
She was. It was... Oh, I want to say Tracy, and it's not. No, we're rapidly running out of time. Stevie, you better start saying your bye-byes.
I think this can carry on to next week as well, I think.
Tanya Roberts.
B movies, The Return.
Next week, it's C movies. We're going through the whole bloody alphabet, bugger it.
My favourite porn from 1980 onwards.
Yeah, when babies look like a gorilla with a split head.
Oh. Next. Say your byes.
Quickie. Goodbye, folks. Thanks for joining us this week. Come and join us next week for more of the same. Stephen, Mark, I need to write some of these down again because I want to watch these movies again.
Oh, you mean both? Half of these films on this list I found I'm watching. I warn you now, Dawn.
Take it away, Stephen. Sorry, Trev.
Chat.
Thank
you so much for joining us tonight. It's been brilliant. Really has gone down memory lane. There are so many films I want to watch now, including Sheena, because I seem to remember there was... But anyway...
See, boobies do everything.
We've went back to the very start of the show with more movies.
Boobies!
Yeah. We've come full circle. So if you've enjoyed what we've done tonight, join us again, same time, same channel, for more of the same. And I shall hand you over to the boss man.
Well, I'd just like to say, Trevor, Betty, it's been absolutely fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And boobies! Everyone likes boobies. Guys in chat, you've been awesome. I'm going to wrap this one up straight away. If you've enjoyed the show, don't forget to give us a good old thumbs up. We do like them one. And also, share. Tell people about the show. That'd be awesome. The more people, the more the merrier. So from myself, Betty and Trevor, we wish you a good night, safe weekend, and we'll see you all next week. Bye! Outro!
Captain Fred Double Edgar's Soul. Oh, loved it, F. Cheers, mate. It's an old cult, but it's still valid.
Boobies!
That's a dangerous thing to do at our age.
Eyeballs are still good.